Hey everybody, this is Tony and I'm here today with a special guest, none other than the talented and great Miss Kellie Haddock. How you doing today?
I'm great. So good to be with you, Tony, and welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for being here. Of course, Kellie, if people don't know, you are a dynamic singer, somebody I really enjoy listening to, and somebody I enjoy seeing, like I said earlier on the timeline, just providing positive messages in the world. We need more of that. But of course, us positive people can sometimes, not get the positiveness back sometimes.
Mhm.
But how have you been doing in the midst of the pandemic, and what have you learned from this experience, if anything?
Hmm. Well, this is maybe a funny answer, but I think I learned that I'm a lot more introverted than I realized. And
Mm,
I actually kind of enjoyed the slower pace and the time with our family. And but it was really hard because all of my shows were canceled. And as an artist, that was sad and challenging, and just figuring out how to pivot and how to
right.
steward that time well. And I know a lot of artists wrote records during the pandemic, and I really didn't expect to, but this one just bubbled out from me, and the experiences that I've been going through the last couple of years.
Yeah, yeah. So I want to talk a little bit about that specifically. So you just released your second single, Dance Among the Flowers, last week, I believe it was. And so
Yeah.
talk to me about the creative process for this particular song and what the meaning is for it for you.
Yeah. So, well, one fun story is I love fashion. I love clothes. And if you follow me on Instagram, you see I'm always tagging like where this is from. And I love a good bargain. So that's also fun. Um, and I got this dress, and on the back it has all these cool flowers, and it says I'm growing through what I'm going through.
Mm,
And I was wearing that dress on a particularly challenging day, and I was like, oh yeah, like my dress is encouraging me right now. And so it's silly to say that I wrote a song after wearing a dress, but it really did inspire the song, because that reality of knowing that the challenges we face, they make us stronger. We can
yes.
choose to respond with hope, and we can choose to respond to those challenges in a way that makes us better people and stronger and growing through those challenges instead of getting stuck there. And I was wearing this dress, and I had those words on my back, and I just felt like it was like a cape that was
Yes.
that was like carrying me through that day. And so that's where the lyric comes from, wearing grace like a cape. That's in the
Mm,
song. And I love that idea of grace as like our superpower. Like if we're going in grace, we can go through anything.
that's right.
So
That's
the
right.
song is super kind of upbeat, like got a lot of energy, is really good bass line. And then we made a wonderful, super fun music video to go with it that I hope you go watch,
Yes.
with
Yes.
four incredibly talented, gorgeous dancers and an aerial artist doing really cool tricks up in the silks. And then I was on the lira, which is like a big circle hoop that you can do a lot of
Hmm.
cool tricks on. So there's just a lot of really good vibes going on in that video.
Yes. Yes. Definitely. I wondered, was the color scheme your idea, the pink and black?
It was, that is sort of my brand. Somebody told me maybe about a year ago that it's really important to kind of pick a color and stick with it. So
Yes.
that doesn't mean everything I do has to be pink, but I like to work in that pink theme as much as I can. So if I have a choice to pick a color, I'm going to pick pink.
Of course, of course. I mean, but it goes together good, especially with black. So it works well. And the
Thank
video
you.
was very nice. I loved it. You had some dancing going on. You had a lot of different things going on. So it was nice. I loved it.
Thank you, Tony.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And so I want to talk, a matter of fact, a little bit about the word that you just mentioned. That's grace.
Mhm.
So of course, when we talk about God and we talk about faith and that kind of thing, grace shows up a lot. Because of course, the Lord gives us grace in a lot of things, even when we don't deserve it.
Mhm.
And what I want to know from you is, how does grace show up in your life today, in this moment in time?
Wow, that's such a beautiful question. And I feel like in some ways my answer is simple. It's just that's literally what sustains me in every moment, every minute.
Yes.
And then I also could talk for hours and hours and hours about it. So it's like both like as near as breath and as complex as the universe. But one of the songs on the new album this song hasn't released yet. But it says, I've seen mountains moved, I've seen giants fall, and still my faith can feel so small. How many miracles will it take for me to see you give me everything I need?
Mm-hmm.
And that to me is how I've been experiencing grace in the last several months, especially. It's like, I can get so worried, like, oh, this thing isn't going to work out, or, oh, this isn't going to happen, or, oh, I'm not going to have what it takes to do this, or whatever the question is. And every single time I get to the end of that and I realize, oh, I had everything I needed. Like God provided, the grace was sufficient for every single moment.
Yes.
And I know tomorrow I'm going to be, questioning, why is my faith so small again? But God is gracious to us to continue to remind us, like, it's okay. I'm giving you everything you need.
Yeah, that's right. I think sometimes it's because the human in us believes that it won't happen sometimes. But the faith in us has to believe that it will happen, because that's what the word is. And I can completely agree with that, because that just happened, matter of fact, to me probably a few weeks ago. Yeah. And I really had to sit down and just think about something. And I was like, because something happened here with me and my mother. And so I had to just think about it, and I sat on it, and I was like, I told her, I said, I'm not worried anymore. I'm not shaken about anything, anymore, because all of the bad days have passed us. Everything that we've went through that has been negative, that has been heartbreaking, that has been, so terrible that you thought you might die, we've gotten over it. So what is this,
Preach, brother.
you can really, you will get over anything there is. But I think that sometimes we get so caught up in the fear of not knowing. A lot of times it's not seeing our way out, because you bring in that human side, and it's like, oh my God, what am I going to do? How is this going to happen? And I owe $30,000 by tomorrow. How can I pay that?
Yeah.
And that's not my case, but I'm just using that as an example.
Yeah.
But God can make it happen, because he is that kind of, friend. He is that kind of father, that kind of, person that will provide for you. But sometimes we have to realize, I have to say this, we have to realize sometimes between a want and a need, though. Sometimes we worry over things that are wants and not what we need. So
that's right.
He will provide according to our needs.
Right.
And if it's in his will, definitely. But sometimes we won't always get what we want.
Right.
So, and you have to be careful.
That's so good, Tony. As you're talking, I'm thinking about, the verse that says it's daily sufficient grace.
That's right.
And it's grace for today. And, sometimes we can be worried about something that's going to happen in a week. And we're like, but it's like, oh, but the grace is for today. Exactly. When you get to that thing that's a week from now, on that day, it'll be today, and the grace will be sufficient for then. And so we're made to carry the burdens we have for today. And sometimes we can step beyond that grace when we're getting anxious and worried about things that are to come.
Yes, absolutely. I think the most important thing is you really have to live for today. Because if not, you'll miss out. You know what I'm saying? You really will miss out on what's happening in the present time, because you're worried about what happened last week or last year or a few years ago, or what's going to happen next week. And it's just like you said, I can't worry about something that's not here yet. You have to live in the present and really be present at the time,
That's
because
good.
Before you know it, you look around and it'll be like, oh, wow, a whole year has passed, and, I haven't done anything, or this happened or that because you're so worried and so focused on old things or something in the future that hasn't happened yet. But meanwhile, God has already made a way for you, and that's what we don't understand a lot of times, that he's already made a way. You don't see it. You might not hear it. You might not know about it, but he's already made a way. So there's no need to worry.
I love that. I was reading something the other day that was talking about that God making a way. It's like, it'd be like if we were walking along some really treacherous river and being worried the whole time we're walking alongside it. How are we ever going to pass? But we don't know that there's a bridge just up ahead,
That's
but
right.
God knows that. God put the bridge there. He's provided that. And
Yes.
so it's foolish to fret when you know that God has provided a way.
Always, especially if he's shown you time and time again that when you've stepped up against adversity, I've stepped in the way of this. I haven't let you fall. You might, see it, but I haven't truly let you fall,
Mhm.
to a point. And if you have fallen in something, most likely he's used it for your good afterwards. It has taught you some kind of lesson. It has brought you some kind of something out of it. I always tell people, matter of fact, years ago, I experienced depression very, very badly.
Mhm.
But I tell people all the time, don't feel like, oh my God, it's natural to have feelings. Don't get me wrong, but I
Mhm.
always say that was one of the worst things and one of the best things to happen to me
Mhm.
because it taught me so much, and it
Mhm.
taught me to be, to use time valuably, and to be present. Now,
Mhm. Yeah.
amongst other things. So I'm always so grateful about that because I really sit back and I have to think about certain things and situations.
Mhm.
I don't react, off the cusp anymore. I'm like, hold on.
Mhm.
Is this person wrong? Okay, they may be, but maybe I need to provide them some kind of grace because I might need it tomorrow.
Mm.
You
Yeah.
know, I'm
Mhm.
not so quick to judge people or to throw something out there. I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. Let's reassess the situation first, and then let's go from there.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of thing that it has taught me,
Mhm.
patience, I should say,
Mhm.
as well as other things. So I really want to tell people and really want people to understand that God really shows up and shows out when he does come. Even when you think that you've lost the battle, it's not over. I promise.
Mhm.
So
Amen.
that's it.
So good.
That's it. That's it. That's all I got.
I love it.
Kellie?
Well, and that's such a wonderful tie-in back to the song. Is that's what
Yes.
this song is an anthem. That's like it's a fight song. As I was working with the dancers, I was saying, this is the song that in a world that says no, you can't, this song
Hmm.
shouts, yes, you can. Like
That's right.
in a world that says no, God can't, this song shouts, yes, God can. And so
Yes.
when you are facing something hard, I mean, I feel like it's a great like getting up in the morning song. Like this, I am gonna get through this day, and that's what
Hmm.
this song is shouting. It's just like cheering you on.
Yeah, yeah. And you're soon going to have the album released. And so for people who don't know, what's the name of the album? And then when is this going to be released as well?
The album's called Orchids from Fire, and it
Hmm.
will be released April 29th.
Okay. Sounds good. And this will be on all streaming platforms, yes?
Everywhere you listen to music.
Okay.
Listen to
Okay.
it on repeat. Share it with all your friends.
Sounds good. Sounds good. But Kellie, I really want to know from you, what inspires you to just create songs of faith and hope and peace and these kinds of topics? Because I never heard you sing something that's negative, or in that vein. So what inspires you to keep on singing those kinds of songs, and why those topics in specific?
Yeah. So, as you might know, Tony, I was a widow and
Mm-hmm.
going through intense tragedy and loss, especially at a really young age. And then fighting that good fight for hope and faith and experiencing what we've been talking about is this
Right.
extravagant grace and how God really can get us through anything, has born in me a very genuine hope. And I'm really passionate about coming alongside others who are struggling or walking through something hard and being a hope giver. So
Yes.
especially on Instagram, that's everything I do there is like, I'm here to help give you hope, help point you to hope. And this record, it's really kind of born out of me understanding part of what I'm made to do as a hope giver. And so
Mm-hmm.
I think this entire record, it's like a cheerleader album for your soul. And it's super high energy, like really good beats, really strong, powerful anthems, like put the windows down and sing loud in the car with me.
I
And
love that.
yeah, it's having gone through something hard, and then walking with other friends and other people I love and family members going through challenges. It's like these are the words I want to say, just to
Yes.
say like
Yes.
you've got this and
Yes.
God's got you.
It is so important though sometimes, and I don't think people realize how important words themselves are.
Mhm.
Just telling somebody thank you can go a long way. Just saying that alone can
Yeah.
really, because you get so used to people being a certain way sometimes, or you don't expect people to be a certain way sometimes. And somebody just saying that can really change your day, just off those two words.
Yep.
So they don't understand sometimes how big words are. And I love that you are somebody who is intentional about using words, about the way you use your platform, that kind of thing. When I see your name pop up, I know that it's something positive. I look forward to seeing your name or your post, because I know that it's something positive. I don't have to think about it. I don't even have to read it. I don't have to look at it. I already know what it is. Of course, I do read them and look at it, but
Thank you, Tony.
I truly, sincerely do enjoy seeing you on my timeline, because you really are somebody that provides a positiveness and a hopefulness and a peace. Unlike some of these stuff that we see in the world today, or I don't want to see things about war all the time, or Will Smith and this Oscar situation. Like, you don't want to see that all the time. You might want to see it sometimes to know what's going on, but other than that,
right.
you really want something that can encourage your spirit, and that's something that you do. So thank you for that. And I want to talk about your songwriting. How did that begin for you? And do you write all of your music, or do you take on some help as well?
I do write all my music, and there's so many different approaches to songwriting. I am a person, I spent 6 months songwriting the songs on this album, and just labored over every lyric. I'm my worst critic, so I am so brutal with redlining and crossing it out and finding a better way to say it, finding a better melody, finding a better hook, finding a better beat. Yes. I want to 100% love it and believe in it, and not get bored with it, not get sick of it. So if after 6 months of that I still love the song and I still love singing it, then it's going on the record.
Okay. That makes sense though. I like that. I can relate, because I normally do that kind of thing all the time. But sometimes you have to just trust yourself enough. Just say go.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
But as far as that kind of thing as well, was there ever a time for you that you just had a song that got so heavy for you to record that you just had to leave out of the session?
Oh yeah. So, well, it's funny, I just talked about working for 6 months. So my producer was flying in to start recording the album. And I woke up that morning and I felt like God was like, you're going to write a song today. I was like, oh, no. We did it with 6 months. We got our songs. We're good. Right. And it was just one of those Holy Spirit things, like, no, go sit at the piano. I got a song for you. And so I sit at the piano, and it's actually the song I mentioned. I've seen mountains moved. I've seen giants fall. Still my faith can feel so small. How many miracles will it take for me to see you give me everything I need? And that just literally like fell out of my mouth at the piano right behind me here. That morning, and that song was so easy to write, and I played it for my producer and he loved it, and he goes, it's going on the album. And so that one, when I was tracking vocals for it, a couple months later, we would label each vocal take, like, we rank it or say what I like, oh, the chorus is great, or, oh, I cough, or, whatever. So, but every single take pretty much was like, I'm crying. So even now when I'm singing it live, I can hardly get through that song without crying. It's definitely my heart song for sure.
Wow, that's amazing though. I think that's the best kind of song to have though, because that you can reach somebody with real emotion. And I think sometimes we forget that, singers too, forget that, to just put real emotion into what you're singing, If you believe it, somebody else will believe it. And the fact that it's about something positive, that's even more better. That makes it that much great. That's like the cherry on top for, whoever is listening to it. Because not only am I feeling what the lyrics are saying, but I can get something out of it. I can be replenished from this. Or, I might be on my last limb, but this is giving me a little bit of hope to go on for tomorrow. So that's the kind of thing that I love. And so thank you for that. What I wanted to know though was, I forgot what I wanted to know. I'm just kidding. But how long did it take you to finish the album overall? Was it the 6 months?
So I focused on songwriting for about 6 months, and then we tracked from September through December, and then we were in mix for like January, February. Okay. And So, and then now we've just been in kind of post-production, working on music videos and all that. And
Nice.
I pushed the release out a little bit because I really wanted to have a really strong release plan. A lot of times I'll finish the album and I'm like, let's go share it with the world. But this album just feels so important. I want to give it the time it needs to promote it really well.
I understand. What's the fastest that you've written a song? And was it one of the songs on this album?
Yes, it was the one I was just talking about that I wrote in the morning while my producer was flying here. So I wrote that in just a couple hours, and I didn't overthink it. And, the other thing, when you were talking about an honest vocal performance, with this record, especially with the vocals, I'm realizing I'm a recovering perfectionist and I want to get it perfect, but I'm realizing that sometimes the best vocal performances are not the most perfect performances.
Right.
But there is an authenticity and a rawness and a realness that comes through even when it's not perfect. And so I was trying to give myself freedom to lean into that as I was tracking vocals, to say, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be believable and come from a place where I am feeling what I'm singing about.
So do you have any favorites off the album so far that you just have to stick with, that you've really just stood out so far? Do you have that yet?
I do really love Dance Among the Flowers. I can't listen to that too much. The title track, Orchids from Fire, that one, that's another one that's like hard to sing without crying. It's so good. It's just like when that chorus hits, you're like, it's good. So
okay.
Yeah, thanks.
That's wonderful. So Kellie, if you could, for me, just in explain and in what the album will embody. For somebody who never heard of you, who've never heard a song that you've written or sang, and who's just listening with an open ear, what would you explain this album as, and what kind of content would you say they're getting?
Yeah, so it definitely leans into the pop world. It's got a lot of good beats and good energy. But there's also a lot of strings, and so it's highly emotive. So it's sort of like this highly emotive pop album. So if you like that, a lot of anthems, like those songs where you want to like throw your head back and sing as loud as you can, and really catchy melodies. So I think you'll find yourself singing it in the car, singing it in your kitchen. And the songs, my faith has motivated everything I do. But I've also tried to create this in a way that wherever you are in life or wherever you are with faith, like you can find a way to connect with these songs.
Yes.
And so I want them to be for everybody, because I believe God loves everybody, even if you acknowledge him or not. And so I think that there's a lot of, the songs are just bursting with hope and bursting with truth and beauty and goodness.
Yes.
And I think you'll love listening to it.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like I said, we just released Dance Among the Flowers. You had Bloom out already, as well. Is there going to be a next single, or is it just going to be the album from here?
Yeah, great question. So, we're releasing the music video for Orchids from Fire with the full album on the 29th. So the full album will drop, but I'm kind of focusing on that song, almost treating that as a single.
Yes.
And then on May 9th, we're going to release a music video for a song I have called Like the Ocean, which is a little bit more of a ballad. That's just beautiful. So, and then we'll roll out music videos for the other songs over the coming weeks and months.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Well, Kellie, I thank you so much for being here today. I truly enjoyed you in this conversation. And for people, who are watching this, I hope you guys get a sense of who Kellie is. Please go and follow her. Kellie, I want you to just tell them all your social media outlets, your website, all of that good stuff.
Thank you, Tony. Yes, please follow me on Instagram at Kellie Haddock Music. I'm super active there. I really care about providing value and hope and goodness to your feed, and pink to your feed.
Yes.
And I'm on Facebook at Kellie Haddock. My website is kelliehaddock.com. And a very important detail is it's Kellie, Kellie. So Kellie Haddock, but it's Kelly with an IE. And you'll find me there on Spotify, iTunes, Apple Music, Amazon Music, everywhere you go. Find Kellie Haddock, Kelly with an IE.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is none other than the dynamic singer, phenomenal person, and hope giver herself, Miss Kellie Haddock. Thank you again.
Thank you, Tony.